Chapter 15, Overeating. Dadaji has revealed interesting knowledge regarding the science of eating. Dadaji asks, should you dump anything into your stomach? But hey, at least ask your body before eating anything. One fellow ate a kilo of ice cream. He may not feel the adverse effects that day. So people say, look, he could eat so much and could digest too. But be aware, the precursor material of a disease has been set in your body by such mindless overeating. It would proliferate with passage of time and show its deleterious effects. People are just dumping anything into their body unmindfully, and later on, the unimbibed yet undisposed traces of those intakes result in tumors of cancer or other diseases. Dadaji shares an interesting experience. Once I was traveling by a horse buggy from Agas to Borsad in Gujarat, India. In the buggy, there were already 3 passengers, and I was the 4th one to sit. The driver started the buggy. On the way, he boarded 2 more passengers. I kept silent there. Further on the road, there were 2 more people who were asking to get a ride. The driver stopped the buggy and told them, whoever wants, just hop in. At that moment, I said, hey man, ask your horse first whether the horse can afford the load and pull the buggy. You are not considering the willingness of the horse and just go on loading the buggy with more and more passengers. What kind of a person are you? In the same way, people too are dumping foods, drinks, and other eatables without paying a heed to what their body says from within. Dadaji asks another fellow, where does the taste come from while eating? The fellow answers, if I get a tasty thing to eat or drink, my tongue likes the taste and I enjoy the taste, right? Dadaji explains, that's why you suffer while in misery. If you don't get engrossed in sensual pleasures, you won't feel suffering while undergoing sensual miseries too. If you cherish material pleasures, the material displeasures too will affect you. Any pleasure derived from material things is of a nature of borrowed pleasure, which later on bounces back by way of suffering caused through material things. For example, having a freezing temperature outside. When you come into a heated room, you cherish the warmth and blame nature for creating a freezing atmosphere. But remember that this kind of happiness is alone taken by way of a material indulgence. This will have to be repaid sometime. And later on, when exposed outside, you may catch colds or fever and feel pains in the body, and thereby that borrowed pleasure gets repaid and balanced out in a natural course. This is a very subtle concept, but one can think over this and understand by relating with one's own experience. Dadaji says, any happiness derived from sensual pleasures has to be repaid later on by way of miseries. Undergoing the resultant sufferings would square off that liability, and that is good for one in a way. Albeit, anything got without one's desire would not have to be repaid. Dadaji explains further. Say you like milk pudding, hence you ate too much of it. But what would happen if you had to rush and travel soon thereafter? You would feel uneasiness while traveling. This is the result of borrowed happiness. You wanted to enjoy overeating of the item of your liking, hence bear the fruits now. It is okay to have food just enough to sustain the body, but having food just for the sake of taste will result in disease sooner or later, as one will have to pay back the happiness borrowed earlier. What is a disease? It is a way of repayment of borrowed sensual pleasures. Dada explained, borrowed sensual happiness will have to be paid back, but no one doesn't know that that repayment doesn't fall due in your younger age. The repayment calls start after one crosses the age of 35 years. Till then, everything seems okay, but one should not be mistaken to believe that all is well, and repayment won't be required. This is the rule of nature. In rare cases, repayment may become due even during younger age. The fruits of one's demerit karmas become due for repayment when the credit balance of one's good deeds has receded. And with those louder calls for repayments, one starts undergoing mental troubles, physical troubles, as also the troubles caused by external factors.